Hello friends, David here once again with another video on this channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the new requirements for work permits for teaching here in Vietnam. If you follow me on TikTok, you would know by now that I have moved to a new school and I recently received my work permit. Prior to the application of my work permit, I was asked by the HR of this new school to give them some documents in order to secure my work permit. Even though they are not so different from the old requirements, I think it is important everyone knows what it takes to get a work permit here now in Vietnam to teach. That is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So let's get started. To begin with, you need a minimum of a bachelor's degree to teach here in Vietnam, preferably a Bachelor of Education in the subject you intend teaching. If you intend teaching science here, a B.Ed in science would suffice. I do not have a B.Ed. My bachelor's is just a Bachelor of Science, but I do have a Master of Education in Science, and that is what I used for my work permit. If you do not have an education certificate, a PGCE or a PGD, in addition to your bachelor's will suffice. And also, if you do have a teaching certification or a teaching license, that will also be enough to satisfy this requirement. The second requirement is TEFL or a TESOL certificate. This certificate is to show that you've been trained to teach students who learn English as a second or foreign language. TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. TESOL stands for Teaching English to speakers of other languages. So that is also another requirement. The third requirement is an English Proficiency certificate. That is if you are a non-native English speaker. If you do not hold a passport from the following countries: the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and then sometimes South Africa, you are required to provide this English Proficiency certificate. You can use IELTS certificate with a total score of 7 or better and other approved certificates to fill this requirement. That is if you are a non-native English speaker. You may want to speak with the HR of your school or your language center to confirm if you would need an English Proficiency certificate or not. The fourth requirement is no criminal police check. You can do this from your home country, or you can come to Vietnam and then do this no criminal police record check. And the next requirement is a health check. You will need a health check certificate to prove that you are fit to work here in Vietnam. And I would advise that you come do this health check here in Vietnam, because the approved hospitals do some checks to confirm that you are fit here to work here in Vietnam. If you do the health check in your home country, you would have to translate into Vietnamese, and that can be the process can be long and can be more expensive. The other requirement I was asked this time around was a certificate of employment or an experience certificate, a certificate that shows that I am experienced to occupy the position I was applying to teach or to occupy the position I have been offered. So in this case, I used the employment certificate from my old school for this requirement. Also, you will need a police registration for the residence you live in here in Vietnam. This can easily be arranged with your landlord. The apartment you live in here in Vietnam, you speak with your landlord that you are applying for a work permit. They need a police registration. Your landlord will process this for you, and this is a very simple one-page document with a red stamp in it for this purpose. So basically, these are the new requirements for teaching here in Vietnam. One thing you should note is that if any of the certificates I've mentioned above were not issued by an institution here in Vietnam, you would have to authenticate the certificate from the country that issued the certificate, and also legalize that authenticated certificate from the Vietnamese embassy in that country or the nearest Vietnamese embassy. I hope I've been able to explain this enough. Please check the video description below. I will leave a link to the English proficiency certificate I wrote for my new work permit. It is not IELTS, and it is a very simple English test I took. Not so simple for those who are learning English for the first time, but if you're an experienced English speaker and you are coming from a non-native English speaking country like Ghana, I think you'll be able to find this test easy to pass. So basically, these are the requirements for the new work permit for teaching here in Vietnam. If you have any question or concern, you may want to leave it in the comment section below, and hopefully in my next videos I will cover or respond to your questions. If you have not subscribed yet, I'll be glad if you subscribe to this channel and then hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new content, you'll be notified. Peace.